Welcome back. It's me, CB, and we're here with your Carnivore Diary. That's right, Amariah back in the house. CB Hash Chat Studios is live and in effect, and we're here to catch you up on how it's been. Week 2, day 15. This is me, and these are my Carnivore Diaries. Good to see you. So, since we last talked, there's a lot to catch up on, a lot to talk about. Today is my second week carnivore. I actually just started my third week as of today. So, 14 days ended yesterday, Sunday, May 19th. And yeah, let's catch you up on where we're at. So, first of all, let's go over our stats as far as our weight is concerned. Not the greatest indicator of how we're doing on the carnivore, but an indicator nonetheless. So, let's go and talk about weight. Let's take a look at the chart. And here we are. So, we do want to check in with our weight, but we also want to just look at things in general. We are looking at about 3,032 calories a day. I am not keeping calorie count at this point. So, and I don't think I'm getting there. 183 grams of protein. Yeah, no clue. Not really focused on that right now. I'm taking things a little bit at a time. Let's settle into a rhythm. My target weight has moved to 208. I am currently 233.6. Now, I didn't start this app until I had been doing this already for, I think, like 5 days or something of that nature. So my weight initially was 248. And so now here we are, 233. But if we go a little lower down past all these goodies, we will see that this is my chart. So I started this app on Thursday, not this past Thursday, but the week before. So that's about 10 days of data so far. And I missed a couple of days. I didn't put in every day, I don't think. But Thursday, 10 days ago, we were 239. Then I've got a Friday, we were down a pound, I guess 239.8. So down 2 pounds. Saturday down 1.4 to 236. Then things kind of tapered off. So I've been losing a little bit of weight, but it's literally been portions of pounds. So 236.6, then 235.8. So that's not quite a pound, 0.8 of a pound. And then I didn't record again until Wednesday, 235. So it went from 235.8 down to 235, and then 234.8, 2.2 pounds in a day. 234.6, 0.2 pounds. That was like, what was that? Thursday? Yeah, that was like 3 days later. So really didn't lose a lot of weight in between here and here. And then most recently, Sunday, 234, and then just dipped down to 233.6. So try to weigh myself first thing in the morning when I get up, before I consume coffee, before I have my first meal. I've heard that's the most accurate time. Weight doesn't ultimately matter at the end of the day. It does over the long haul. Like, I want to get to 201 pounds. That's my goal by the end of the year. I'd like to get under that. If we're really talking about what they're talking about down here, where BMI is at 30.8, I'm obese. They want me down here at normal. And normal, they're saying for me, is 183 pounds. And I don't know if I've ever been 183, at least not since I was like 15. So, but I would like to get down to about 200. So the weight loss was pretty significant initially. A lot of that is water weight. You're not eating vegetables and fruits. From what I understand, a lot of that water weight is leaving your body. You're just consuming these proteins and this fat and water and salt. And so you lose the water weight, and then you kind of stabilize weight wise. I have a feeling we're going lower once I start working out. I'm not concerned ultimately about weight loss. This is a 1 month look. Again, the last 7 days since our last video, been very stable. 235, 234, 234, 234, 233. So weight loss is not the most important factor. It is the reason why a lot of people are getting into this right now. For me, it's far beyond weight loss. Weight loss is definitely something I expect over 3 years of doing this diet, but is not because the diet's going to get me there and that's it, and I keep doing everything else in my life the same way. It's because this is the catalyst to a gigantic change in my life, while incorporating the best practices and the best life hacking I can. But that's basically our catch up of the weight loss portion. So as you can see, it's been a bit of a journey. Things have tapered off a bit. We're slowing down, but overall, how am I feeling right now? I'd say for the most part, feeling pretty good on the carnivore diet. I've done it before, kind of know what to expect. A lot of people talk about the keto flu, which is something that maybe you go through with the carnivore diet when you're eating a high fat, high protein diet and not all the other stuff. Especially when you retain coffee as part of your diet, which I am still drinking coffee. It can cause an effect where you can spend some extra time in the office reading your local sports magazines or whatever it is that you do. That has not been the case for me. I haven't really experienced that. I haven't spent a lot of time in my office unless I have to go, number one. Um, but, every couple of days or so, I get a little bit of a movement and everything seems to be fine. So, not really feeling much of that. There are times throughout the day when I feel really kind of upbeat. I start singing a song from the '80s or something, and then there's usually this time of the day around 6, 7, maybe right around what would be post dinner time. Dinner time for us is generally around 5 to 6 o'clock. So maybe it's just after that. I just get kind of a little quiet and I don't know. I think if I was to use a word, it'd be like somber. I get a little somber and I feel a little down, not like energetic, a little maybe lethargic, maybe a um, little bit of fuzziness, fog, head fog. They would just call it. Not every day, it seems, but enough days that I've kind of noticed that for a period of time later in the day, things kind of slow down and quiet down for me. So, other than that, I feel pretty good overall. I haven't begun my workout yet, so my athletics have not been there, and yeah, I haven't really started back at hot yoga, which is something that I was doing prior to all of this as I was trying to figure out what was going on with my body, especially with my umbilical hernia. I was waiting to see my doctors, but also my plantar fasciitis in my right heel. I don't really feel the plantar fasciitis in my right heel much. Actually, I would say almost not at all in the last few days. It kind of comes and goes though, so I'm not calling that a victory yet. Um, but I'm going to talk about athletics in just a minute. I'll tell you a little bit about that. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the experience that I had on the app this last week, visiting one of their meetings called the Carnivore Social Hour. We are calling this Carnivore Diaries. So we're going to go ahead and get you a cool little intro and a little bit of an outro for our video series. And we are committed to doing this for 3 years. So, as far as athletics and starting to train for these Ironmans, it's time to go. Today will be my first day that I run in months. I think I stopped working out in January, maybe early February. So, March, April, that's basically 3 months. I've not done anything physical except for a period of time I was doing air squats, sit ups, and push ups every day. I'm going to return to the push ups every day. I'm going to start today with 70 push ups and I'll do 70 push-ups a day for a week and increase it to 75 and then 80 until I get to 100. I'll basically be doing 100 push-ups a day, and I'll start with running a mile. But I have to run slow because of my plantar fasciitis. I have to take my time. And the air squats and the sit-ups were actually putting more pressure on my umbilical hernia, so I could not continue those for now. So for right now, I will start running today, 1 mile at a slow pace and I will do 70 push-ups. So I attended something this last week called the Carnivore Social Hour on the Go Carnivore app. And it was really good. I got to listen in. I was a little busy at the time. I was driving my daughters back home from school during the first portion of it. But I had a question about pepper because I know I'm doing salt and meat and water, but I love pepper. And I'm like, pepper, how can it be bad for you? I also was curious about garlic and onion granules for some of my barbecuing. I do smoke. I have a smoker. I have a Traeger Timberline, 1,300 square inches of smoking real estate inside of that thing. So I will be smoking a lot of the meats. Some people have not responded well to smoke on this diet. I don't smoke, obviously. anything other than meat. But salt is an obvious. But what about pepper? And I heard about this something called an oxalate. And an oxalate, from what I understand, and again, I'm not a doctor, I don't really know. I just do my own research, kind of watch videos and read books and such, and learn. Plants produce oxalates, and oxalates are toxic. And these toxins are created within the plant so they don't just get eaten by every insect and animal and creature that can crawl and go around in nature. And so it's a survival technique. So oxalates are in almost everything, and they're ultimately not part of the program. When you're eating a plant-free diet, such as the carnivore or the lion or whatever it is you're doing, you should not be taking in oxalates. But there's other ways that oxalates can get into your system, such as deodorant, toothpaste. I mean, think about anything, right? I'm starting to think, oh, what about cologne? Like, I want to smell good. Deodorant, yeah. I mean, I want my wife to hug me. So, what am I going to do? So, on this carnivore social hour, shout out to a couple of the coaches that were out there. I think Coach Linda, Coach Christina. Um, they answered my question, and they said basically pepper's not good, especially black pepper. Some people do white, blah, 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 blah. I'll just tell you how I'm going to approach this is if somebody says it's not good, but I'm going to go ahead and stop at the it's not good and just cut it out. Because it's only 3 years of my life, right? I've lived 50, coming up on 51 of them. I can give up 3 years of enjoying things that I like to eat. I mean, not that I won't enjoy meat, but I'm going to be cautious about not taking in anything other than meat, water, and salt. And I mean anything. I mean, they have all kinds of stuff that you can snack on, and they have all these companies that are making stuff. Well, how much? I mean, any company that puts anything in any production facility anywhere, it's man-made. It's created by man. I mean, if somebody's in their bathtub at home creating products and selling them, maybe it's good, but I'm going to be very cautious and for the most part probably stay away unless I get like hangry and I'm tired of this and I have to do something. I do have to look at electrolytes, especially since I'm an athlete. Extreme races, I'm hoping that this overall improves my performance in those, but there's a big section on that, so I'll talk about that in just a minute. But oxalates, staying away from them. They said toothpaste, use coconut oil and baking soda, but I'm like, is baking soda man-made? Is coconut oil man-made? I mean, if I get the coconut and squeeze the oil out of it, maybe then I know. So I'm yeah, basically have not brushed my teeth with anything except for water and the toothbrush, using a water pick to clear out things, and flossing with a plain wax floss. But now I'm even suspect of wax. So I mean, I don't know how hard do you want to go? How far down the rabbit hole do you want to run? I personally love rabbit holes, and I love running down them. People that know me, especially those in Web3, know that. So oxalates, I'll be on the lookout for those. We'll do more about that and talk more about that later. Um, I am concerned about racing, and how do you finish a 140-mile race on just beat? So I was able to watch a couple of YouTube videos. One of them was done with Dr. Chaffee. If you don't know who he is, he actually is somebody that my doctor, when he told me in the come to Jesus meeting that we had, hey, you need to lose the stomach, otherwise this hernia is just going to come back every time. Do you know about the carnivore diet? He wrote down a number of names, and one of them was Chaffee. So Dr. Anthony Chaffee um, has a podcast. He probably has a podcast. Has a YouTube channel I've been watching, and on one of his episodes, he had the carnivore diet, a game changer for all American decathlete Ryan Talbot, and it's about an hour and a half episode where Ryan Talbot talks about how it has improved his performance. And I mean, it sounds like before he really went fully into it, he had won the decathlete, I think his Big Ten championship. He came in third, and most recently after he really was full carnivore. But I'm just curious about how does nutrition work on a course? And so there was also a triathlete that was a carnivore, and I still haven't gotten specifics about, hey, you take, 15 pounds of steak the night before. For me with racing, I always eat giant amounts of pasta the night before a race. And generally, the 2 nights before, I carb up on something else. A lot of people do pizza. Cheese never really did well with me, though sometimes I would have some. But yeah, lots of bread and pasta. And then my races are always just goos. I really found that a vanilla goo is the best thing for me. That's the thing I like. I think my body uses well. That, and I use a hydration pack, which is sugar. I mean, basically, that's glucose, right? Quickly available calories in the form of glucose is what your body needs when you're going through 15 hours of racing. And I hope to do longer races. I hope to do 100, 200-mile races one day, especially now that I'm on this track to get healthy. But I have to figure out what I'm going to eat. So racing is a big deal. I'm going to start training a little bit. I can go out and probably bike for a couple of hours, no problem, with just water and salt. I do also need to figure out electrolytes. I just don't want to take man-made stuff. Salt tabs. One of the most important things in my races is every hour on the hour, I consume 2 to 4 salt tabs. Is that good? I don't know. Is it just salt? No, it's got a bunch of different stuff in it. I mean, they're salt tabs are made for, you know, refilling your electrolytes so you don't cramp. Cramping, is what quits races when you're doing Ironmans. So I that's another subject we'll be talking about. We'll be looking into that as well. But I just don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do these races. I have a half Ironman in September. I have a full Ironman in October. I would love to get out and do an ultra marathon, another 31.5 mile race, or 31-mile race, or whatever. I did 32.5 miles once. But I just don't know how I'm even going to be able to train. I'll be eating a bunch of meat. I can tell you that. And I'll be taking a lot of salt, which I hope will keep the cramps. So lastly, today, I just wanted to check in and say, what am I eating? Because there's a lot of talk about different things. I did download the Carnivore Diet, a food pyramid here. And if you can see that, at the top, we have dairy and animal fats. Um, then we have fish, eggs, marrow, oysters, and then we have non-ruminants: pork, chicken, duck, fish, lobster, and shrimp. And we have the ruminants: cattle, lamb, goat, antelope, elk, and deer. So I ate some venison yesterday, ground venison. Other than that, I've had lamb a few different times this week. At night, I have a steak, and then I'll have a lamb shoulder. So, cattle, lamb, and deer so far on ruminants. Non-ruminants, I didn't really have any this last week. Kind of just stayed away. I don't see a lot of value to chicken or duck. I like the flavor of lobster. It's expensive. Shrimp, also expensive because I don't like the little guys. I like the big guys. And then pork, I do love pork ribs. Um, Other than that, I don't really care that much about pork. Had no fish this week whatsoever, though I am interested in fish, especially salmon. I'll probably do salmon once in a while. And then eggs. I eat a ton of eggs. I eat 5 in the morning. Generally that's it, but sometimes I'll have 1 or 2 later in the day. I will not touch dairy. Animal fats, I do tallow. So I do have a jar of tallow that I pulled from a brisket that I did a little while ago, and I use that to cook my eggs in. So I use tallow and salt for my eggs. And then I eat a lot of pork. I said I don't eat pork. I do eat pork. I eat bacon. I got a ton of bacon. So generally 6 to 8 pieces in the morning with my eggs. And then sometimes I'll have a few pieces as well at night with my steak. So I like that. For now, I'm going to go ahead and stick to pretty much bacon, eggs, steak, and lamb. And hope to eat some salmon. Other than that, I'm really not doing much. Salt and water. That's it. So I do take the big 3 for sleep. That's L-theanine, magnesium L-threonate, and apigenin. That's it. I take those 3 because they help get me into my REM state, and I usually get pretty good solid sleep with those. I feel well rested. It's worked well for me for a long time. So I stay with that. But other than L-theanine, magnesium threonate, apigenin, I don't take anything else except for water, salt, and meat and coffee. Coffee is a killer, clearly oxalates. Caffeine isn't that good for you, can be a diuretic. I haven't really experienced that. I'm just waiting until it has to happen. It will, but not looking forward to it. So that's my story from here. It's week 2. Well, we're starting week 3. Today is day 15. Very excited. Very much looking forward to the future and the next 3 years. Well, less than 3 years now, if I'm doing it right. Um, Looking forward to start training. Really appreciate the Go Carnivore app and the coaches over there and the very, very kind people that I've been engaging with. And we will see you next time right back here. We're going to be talking about the Carnivore Diaries of me, CB Hatch Chat Studios. Again, we'll be taking you on the road. Maybe we'll take you out for some training, and I'm getting a cold plunge, and maybe we'll do some of that too. But there's a lot we can do to hack life, and I want to hack life. What about you? Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. I'm CB. These are my Carnivore Diaries.